In this video, I'm going to be talking about becoming aware of patterns and limiting beliefs and how you can use this awareness to shift into a new reality, a preferable reality. We create lots of patterns throughout our life. Now, some big ones, some small ones, there's lots, right? Like the pattern of waking up every morning and making yourself a cup of coffee and then waking up the next morning and making yourself, that is a pattern. That is a cycle. And you're not necessarily stuck in it if you don't want to be stuck in it. If you make the choice every single morning consciously to have a cup of coffee, you're not stuck in the pattern, but you are aware of it and you're making the choice every single morning, or you're unaware of it and you're just doing it out of habit. And then there's big patterns, like life patterns of people that you get into relationships with, like similar people, similar jobs that you get stuck in, similar cycles of limiting beliefs that come up in situations. So those can be like some bigger, more drastic patterns that we find ourselves stuck in. So the first step is simply just becoming aware of these patterns, right? If you think about the reality that you want to create for yourself, and you think about the things that in this reality, the things that you consciously choose to do throughout your days. How do you spend your morning? How do you spend your time at work? How do you speak to people when you're at work? How do you spend your lunch hour? What do you eat for lunch? All of these things that we slowly begin to become aware of throughout our day can help change the course of our lives. Now, even when a cycle that you're stuck in is small, it can still have drastic changes on your life. When you begin to become aware of the patterns, you're creating space within yourself. So a pattern is basically just whenever you make a habit out of something and you don't even really think about it, you just react. And so then it becomes a pattern. Every single morning, your reaction when you first wake up is to make a cup of coffee. You're just reacting to that pattern. There's no space. There's no decision making. It's just automatic. You automatically go make yourself a cup of coffee. Now, whenever you begin to become aware that you're making yourself a cup of coffee every morning, you give yourself the space to make a decision consciously. So before you just automatically go make yourself a cup of coffee, you're able to pause. And within that pause, within that space that you've created through awareness, now you can ask yourself, do you want a cup of coffee? Yes or no? And now instead of automatically just going and making it, you can choose yes or no, which creates a new timeline in and of itself, right? Because there's lots of timelines happening all at once. There's a timeline where you have a cup of coffee and you're energized in the morning, and then maybe later in the evening you have anxiety because of it, if that is something that you struggle with, like I do. Or in the morning you choose to not have a cup of coffee, and maybe your energy, the first few days that you're not having coffee, your energy levels are low, but eventually they kind of like get used to creating natural energy and you're not dependent on the coffee anymore. And so now you're in a new timeline where you're not drinking coffee and you don't have anxiety before you go to bed at night. And because you don't have anxiety when you go to bed at night, you wake up easier and you wake up in a better mood and you wake up in a new, different timeline. So any choice at all determines the timeline that you're going down. So slowly throughout your days, this isn't something that you want to just like do all at once. It's totally possible. You can just all of a sudden decide you're in a new timeline and change all of your habits all at once, become aware of everything all at once and change it all. Sure, miracles absolutely happen. Miracles happen. That is possible. I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying that it may be less drastic on your nervous system if you just choose a few habits and go with that to begin with, right? Start to become aware and write down at the end of your day, journal about the things that you noticed. What did you notice throughout your day that was cyclical, something that happens often that maybe you don't enjoy doing, or maybe you do enjoy doing it. Still, just put it on a list. And you can pick, I would pick like 4 or 5 things that you just absolutely, now that you're noticing that you're in this pattern, that you don't any longer want to continue on with this habit. Just choose a few things, and then throughout your days, practice making the conscious decision to do it or not. And you're not going to be perfect, right? We're just practicing. We're just practicing creating new habits for yourself, and you're not going to succeed every single day, because for a while when you're shifting into a new timeline, you're existing in both timelines at once. You're shedding the old timeline and moving into the new timeline, and so there's like an overlap of them at one point when you're first going through the shift. So don't be hard on yourself if you still find yourself going back into old habits and patterns. Just forgive yourself and continue to move forward. There's no sense in shaming yourself, because when you shame yourself, you're just anchoring yourself deeper into that undesirable habit or cycle. So don't shame yourself. Just notice, like, oh, I didn't even think about it and I had a cup of coffee this morning, or oh, it's been 3 days and I haven't gone to the gym, even though I said that this new version of myself goes to the gym. It is totally fine. It's okay. Notice it, forgive yourself, and move forward. Every day is a new opportunity. Every day you are reborn. When you go to sleep at night, it's like a mini death. Every night we have the chance at death and rebirth. So use that opportunity to your advantage. Every night you die, and the day before is over. It's done. Be reborn. The same lessons from yesterday, if you didn't learn them, will still come up today, but today you have a new opportunity to act differently, to choose differently. And with that new opportunity, you are reborn. Rebirth looks like a lot of new choices, the same patterns but new choices. That's what rebirth is. So allow your old self to die, your old patterns, your old choices to die. It's going to overlap for a little while. Keep forgiving yourself and moving forward, and every day you're reborn and you have the opportunity to create new for yourself. So don't get down on yourself. Don't shame yourself. There's just no point in it. It's just wasted energy. So yeah, just forgive yourself and move forward. And so the next step of creating a new timeline will actually be shifting you all the way down to your beliefs. So starting with your cycles, you can do it either way. You can do it beliefs and patterns at the same time, one first, blah, blah. It's just like very ever-changing, ebbing and flowing. But so our beliefs, when we begin to become aware of our thoughts are like messengers letting us know that we still have a limiting belief. So whenever we use that same tool of creating space, creating that awareness around something so that we have the option to choose it or not choose it. And whenever we don't have awareness around our thoughts, we're automatically choosing them as true. We're automatically choosing them as like, yes, this is my thought, this is a part of my reality, it's true. And so it just flows through you and you automatically believe the thought is truth. Whereas whenever you begin to become aware of your thoughts, you create that space. You create that space for choosing whether or not that this thought is helpful to you. None of the thoughts are you. They're just notifications of either old patterns, limiting beliefs that you still hold, and you get to choose. You get to choose these limiting beliefs. You're not like shackled to these beliefs. You get to choose whether or not you want them, just like you get to choose whether or not you want your thoughts, by creating awareness, by observing them, by not shaming them, by not making them good or bad, just simply becoming aware of every thought and emotion that is arising within you. If it's an emotion, you want to just become aware of it and allow it to play out, not try and like say no to it, because it's happening within you, and saying no to an emotion creates resistance, and then you're just like stuffing it down, and it's gonna come up eventually at a later date. It's gonna keep coming up until you observe it and let the emotion flow through your body and feel it so that it can be released. But anyways, so thoughts, back to thoughts. Our thoughts are simply, like I said, notifications, and we can choose to keep or leave a thought, basically. If you're constantly having a thought telling you, you're fat, you need to go to the gym, you're fat, you need to go to the gym, and it plays every single day at the same time after work, around 4 or 5, you have a thought that says, either like telling you that you need to go to the gym because of this, or telling you that you need to go to the gym because of that. That is a cycle, that is a pattern that you are trapped in, and it may not be beneficial to you. Your body may want rest, but instead you're trapped in this cycle of your thought telling you to go to the gym, so now you're going to the gym. Your thoughts are controlling you at this point, and in order to break this cycle, you need to create space within yourself between you and the thought. So when this thought arises and tells you whatever, you need to go to the gym, you can now see that thought and see maybe where it stems from, but at this point just become aware of the thought. And then rather than letting the thought control you, so even though you had a long day at work, you're mentally and emotionally exhausted, your body is drained, all you really want to do is just go home and rest and like sit in stillness, maybe meditate or stretch a little bit, drink some hot tea, but your thoughts are pestering you and telling you that you have to go to the gym, otherwise you're not worthy. You're not worthy now if you don't go to the gym. This is not true. Just because your thoughts are telling you this, it's not true. And the belief behind this is a belief of unworthiness. You're using the gym to fill a void of feeling worthy. You're inherently worthy just for existing. You don't need to go to the gym to prove your worth. So just becoming aware of these thoughts and breaking the chain, breaking the cycle of allowing your thoughts to control what you do, letting your thoughts control how you react to situations. So the more that you begin to break from these patterns of allowing your thoughts to control you, and rather observing your thoughts and making new choices depending on what your body and soul are actually asking for, getting in alignment with your soul, you begin to shift into a new timeline. Because in the old timeline, you went to the gym every single day after work at 5 o'clock because you didn't feel worthy. Your new self wouldn't do that, because in the new timeline, you feel inherently worthy. You don't need the gym to make you feel worthy. You already know that you are worthy with or without the gym. So maybe some days you go to the gym because you just want to, but maybe some days you don't, because you don't feel like it and you no longer need the gym to prove your worth to you. So yes, this is how you begin to shift into a new timeline, by becoming aware of your cycles of actions and limiting beliefs and thoughts. Yes, you are absolutely capable of becoming the version of yourself that you dream about, that you can't stop thinking about. You are worthy of it, you are capable of it. I would say that the first step would be just to journal. Create a journaling space for you to jot down at the end of the day or throughout your day or whenever you'd like to do it. Just like any patterns or limiting beliefs or thought cycles that you observe. And the first step is just becoming aware of everything. Don't expect to change everything all at once. So just become aware. Journal at the end of the day what your findings, and then slowly over time you will begin to make new choices. The awareness has to come first, and then the choices come after the awareness, because you need to be able to create that space within yourself. So yeah, I hope this video was helpful. If it was, please give me a thumbs up, and I will see y'all next time.